Hey there. You know what? I need to tell you something that might surprise you. Positive thinking can hurt your mental health, especially if you're a senior. I know. That sounds crazy, right? But here's the thing. There are 3 toxic positivity habits that millions of seniors are doing right now that are making their mental wellness worse, not better. And if you're over 65 or care about someone who is, you need to know what these are. Because what I'm about to share with you could be the difference between thriving in your golden years or struggling with hidden depression and anxiety. So stick around because this will change your thoughts about staying positive forever. The hidden epidemic: why senior mental health matters more than ever. Let me start with something that'll blow your mind. Did you know that 1 in 4 seniors experience significant mental health challenges? That's over 15 million older adults in the US alone. But here's what's shocking. Most of them think they're doing everything right because they're staying positive. The truth is, as we age, we face unique challenges: loss of loved ones, health issues, retirement adjustments, loneliness, and society keeps telling us to just think positive or count your blessings. But what if I told you this advice is making things worse? Senior mental wellness isn't just about putting on a happy face. It's about authentic emotional processing, genuine connection, and realistic coping strategies. And that's precisely what these 3 toxic positivity habits are destroying. But before we dive into these habits, let me tell you about Sarah, a 72-year-old grandmother I met who changed my entire perspective on this topic.
Toxic habit number 1. The I should be grateful trap. Sarah came to me feeling guilty about feeling sad. Her husband had passed away 6 months earlier, and everyone kept telling her, at least you had 50 beautiful years together, and you should be grateful for the time you had. Sound familiar? This is toxic positivity habit number 1. Believing you should always be grateful instead of processing difficult emotions. Here's what's happening in your brain when you do this. When you suppress grief, sadness, or anxiety with forced gratitude, you're rewiring your brain to ignore necessary emotional signals. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone. You're not healing, you're just hiding the problem. The real problem. Gratitude becomes toxic when used to avoid or minimize legitimate feelings. Your brain needs to process loss, change, and fear. When you constantly tell yourself, I should be grateful, you're telling your emotional system to shut down. The shocking statistics? Seniors who practice forced gratitude show 40% higher rates of delayed grief processing and are 60% more likely to develop what psychologists call complicated grief, a condition where normal grief becomes stuck and turns into chronic depression. Think about it this way. If your grandchild fell and scraped their knee, would you tell them, just be grateful you can walk? Of course not. You'd comfort them, clean the wound, and help them heal. Your emotions deserve the same care and attention. And honestly, if gratitude solved everything, we'd all be walking around like those overly cheerful people in pharmaceutical commercials. You know, the ones who are inexplicably happy about their digestive issues. But here's what's even more dangerous about this habit.
Toxic habit number 2, the stay strong performance. This one hits close to home for so many seniors. You've been the rock for your family your entire life. You've weathered storms, raised children, and built careers. And now, when facing the most significant life challenges, everyone expects you to stay strong. But here's the brutal truth. The stay strong mentality is killing your mental health from the inside out. Let me share some research that'll make your jaw drop. A study from the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry found that seniors who felt pressure to stay strong and not burden others were 3 times more likely to experience severe depression and 2.5 times more likely to have suicidal thoughts. Why? Because humans are wired for connection and vulnerability. When you constantly perform strength, you're cutting yourself off from the relationships that could support you. Here's what staying strong actually looks like in your daily life. Saying I'm fine when you're struggling. Avoiding conversations about your fears or sadness. Refusing help because you don't want to be a burden. Hiding physical pain or emotional distress. Making jokes when you want to cry. The science is precise. Your nervous system interprets this constant performance as chronic stress. Your cortisol levels stay elevated. Your immune system weakens, and your brain shrinks in areas responsible for emotional regulation. But the most heartbreaking part? You're robbing your loved ones of the chance to support you. Think about it. When someone you care about shares their struggles with you, does it make you love them less? Of course not. It makes you feel trusted, needed, and valued. Your vulnerability is not a weakness. It's a gift to the people who love you. You might be thinking, but I don't want to be negative or bring people down. And that brings us to the most dangerous toxic positivity habit of all.
Toxic habit number 3, the no negative thoughts rule. This is the big one, folks. The belief is that having negative thoughts makes you a negative person. This toxic positivity habit is rewiring your brain for anxiety and depression. Here's what most people don't understand about emotions. They're not good or bad. They're information. Sadness tells you something important is missing. Anger tells you a boundary has been crossed. Fear tells you to pay attention to potential danger. You're essentially unplugging your emotional GPS system when you have a no negative thoughts rule. You're flying blind through life's most challenging moments. The research is staggering. Seniors who try to suppress negative emotions show increased activity in the amygdala, your brain's fear center, and decreased activity in the prefrontal cortex, your brain's reasoning center. Translation? You become more anxious and less able to solve problems. Here's how this shows up in real life. Immediately trying to think positive when you feel sad. Feeling guilty or ashamed for having worried thoughts. Avoiding situations that might trigger difficult emotions. Constantly distracting yourself from uncomfortable feelings. Believing that good people don't have dark thoughts. Newsflash, even the Dalai Lama has bad days. Even the most spiritually evolved people experience the full range of human emotions. The difference is they don't judge themselves for it. You know what? If this information is helping you understand your mental health better, do me a favor and hit that button. It helps me know this content is valuable to you. And if you want more evidence-based wellness tips specifically for seniors, subscribe and ring that notification bell. I've got so much more to share with you. The neuroscience behind toxic positivity. Now, let me blow your mind with what's happening in your brain when you practice these toxic positivity habits. Your brain has something called the negativity bias. This isn't a flaw, it's a survival mechanism that kept our ancestors alive. Your brain is wired to notice and remember negative experiences more than positive ones because, evolutionarily speaking, the person who forgot about the lion was more likely to become lunch. But here's where it gets interesting for seniors. As we age, our brains become even more sensitive to emotional suppression. The neural pathways that help us regulate emotions naturally weaken over time. So when you try to force positivity, you're working against your brain's natural aging process. The result? What psychologists call emotional dysregulation is that your emotions become more challenging to control and more intense when they surface. The cascade effect: you suppress a negative emotion, your brain works harder to maintain the suppression. Stress hormones flood your system. Your emotional regulation weakens. The suppressed emotion comes back stronger. You feel like you're losing control. You suppress even harder. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The harder you push, the more violently it will pop back up. The real cost of toxic positivity on senior health. Let's talk about what this is costing you. Because toxic positivity doesn't just affect your mood, it affects your entire body. Cardiovascular impact. Chronic emotional suppression increases your risk of heart disease by 35%. Your heart pays the price for your emotional performance. Immune system suppression. Seniors practicing toxic positivity show 50% weaker immune responses to vaccines. Your body's ability to fight illness is directly connected to your emotional authenticity. Cognitive decline. This one's scary. Emotional suppression accelerates cognitive decline and increases dementia risk by 20%. Your brain needs emotional processing to stay sharp. Social isolation.
Perhaps most importantly, toxic positivity destroys relationships. People can't connect with the real you when you're not authentic. Loneliness kills more seniors than obesity or smoking. It's like your emotions are that one friend who gets louder when you ignore them. Except instead of just being annoying at parties, they're affecting your health.
The path forward: authentic emotional wellness. So what's the alternative? How do you maintain genuine senior mental wellness without falling into toxic positivity? Step 1. Emotional acknowledgement. Instead of "I should be grateful," try "I'm feeling sad about my loss," and "I'm grateful for the time I had." Both can be true simultaneously. Step 2. Vulnerable connection. Instead of "I'm fine," try "I'm struggling today, but I'm working through it." This invites support without demanding it. Step 3. Emotional curiosity. Instead of "I shouldn't think this way," try "What is this feeling trying to tell me?" Treat emotions as information, not judgments. The revolutionary approach. What if you treated your emotions like you treat physical symptoms? If you had a persistent cough, you'd investigate it, not ignore it. Your emotional symptoms deserve the same attention and care. Building your emotional toolkit. Here are practical strategies that work for senior mental wellness. The 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. When overwhelmed, name 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 you can taste. This brings you back to the present moment without forcing positivity. The both and practice. Replace but with and in your self-talk. I'm scared, and I'm capable. I'm grieving, and I'm healing. This honors complexity. The emotional weather report. Treat emotions like temporary, natural, and informative weather. There's a storm of sadness today, feels different than "I am sad." The wisdom years perspective. You've survived 100% of your difficult days. That's not toxic positivity. That's evidence-based confidence in your resilience. Creating authentic support systems. The game changer for senior mental wellness. Building relationships where you can be authentically human. This might mean joining grief support groups where sadness is welcome. Finding friends who share struggles, not just successes. Working with therapists who understand senior-specific challenges. Participating in activities that don't require emotional performance. Remember, the goal isn't to be positive all the time. The goal is to be authentically human, which includes the full spectrum of emotions. The ripple effect of authentic wellness. When you permit yourself to feel full, something magical happens. You become a safe space for others to do the same. Your grandchildren learn that it's okay to have bad days. Your friends feel permission to share their real struggles. Your family experiences deeper, more meaningful connections. You model what healthy aging looks like, not the Instagram version, but the real, messy, beautiful, fully human version.
All right, let's wrap this up. We've covered the 3 toxic positivity habits that are damaging senior mental wellness: the "I should be grateful" trap, the "stay strong" performance, and the "no negative thoughts" rule. The bottom line: real mental wellness isn't about being positive all the time. It's about being authentically human. Your emotions are valid, your struggles matter, and you deserve support. So here's my question. Are you ready to permit yourself to feel full, or will you keep performing positively? Please comment and let me know which toxic habits you recognize in yourself. If this video helped you understand your mental health better, please give it a like and subscribe for more evidence-based wellness content. And hey, what other senior wellness topics would you like me to cover? Speaking of wellness, you need to watch my next video about 7 leg mistakes that destroy your mobility. Trust me, mistake number 3 is something almost every senior does, and it's quietly sabotaging your independence. I'll see you there.